Hello everyone, my name is Francisco Viana, Product Marketing Manager at Xray, and welcome to Xray 2025 Unwrapped. It's great to have you all with us today, our partners, our customers, and the broader Xray community. Today, we'll be showcasing what we've achieved over the last 12 months, and giving you a glimpse into the future. 2025 has been a special year for Xray. We introduced some of our most anticipated features yet with Xray AI, a major milestone that marks a new chapter in how our users manage and scale their testing. But more on that later. At the beginning of every year, we define a guiding plan, built around a few key pillars. These pillars are our North Star. They're the foundation for everything we design, build, and deliver. Now, priorities may shift as Atlassian introduces new opportunities, or as market trends evolve. But even when our roadmap changes, these core pillars stay the same. They keep us focused, they keep us aligned. For 2025, our guiding pillars were customer first. To build a great product, we build it with our users, not just for them. This year, we held more than 100 Xray feedback sessions, prioritized more user-requested improvements than ever, and ran beta programs for major updates like JQL enhancements for cloud and Xray AI. All of this helped us validate ideas early and ensure every release addresses real customer needs. The second pillar is performance and flexibility. This year was pivotal in driving performance gains and giving users even more flexibility in how they define workflows and scale testing across teams. It's all about empowering teams to work the way they want, faster, smarter, and with more control. And finally, cloud readiness. Aligned with Atlassian's cloud-first strategy, we continued improving the migration experience with better tooling, smoother processes, and stronger feature parity between data center and cloud. As the ecosystem moves deeper into the cloud, our goal is simple: deliver a consistent, powerful Xray experience in any hosting environment. Now, it's time to dive into the details. Let's hand it over to Bernardo and Chris from the product team, who will walk us through the major releases and the innovations we delivered this year.
Thank you, Francisco, for queuing us up. Hello, everyone. I'm Bernardo Cotin, and with me is Chris Cariz. We're here to talk about the incredible pace of innovation that defined Xray in 2025. This was a monumental year. We shipped over 25 releases, constantly delivering value and reacting to your needs. These releases were all centered on these three pillars: customer first, performance and flexibility, and cloud readiness. Let's jump right in and see how we brought this vision to life. So Chris, take it from here.
Thanks, Bernardo. The customer first pillar was all about making Xray smarter and more efficient. We took a huge leap forward with AI. We released both AI test case generation, instantly turning requirements into detailed tests, and AI test model generation, boosting our test design capabilities with suggested parameters and values. This is quality driven by intelligence, and it largely revolves around our internal AI engine, SembiIQ, which powers our current and future AI features. SembiIQ is different from generic AI tools. It's built specifically for QA and security-minded scenarios with the intention of assisting testers rather than replacing them. We've leveraged our testing and security tools domain expertise to provide SembiIQ with intelligence needed to actually improve your testing activities. Our first available AI feature is test case generation, which generates full test cases to sufficiently accurately cover your requirements. Complementing this generative, time-saving process is our human-in-the-loop approach, which keeps you in the driver's seat the entire way through. There are multiple opportunities throughout the workflow for you to refine the content in order to optimize the AI output. The result is increased test coverage in a fraction of the time. Our other available AI feature is test model generation. This is an extension of our existing test case designer feature, and here you'll have advanced capabilities to leverage AI for generating model parameters, drastically increasing your test model generation speed and supercharging the test case designer feature. This feature is only available on Xray Enterprise. The second major theme under customer first is core usability. We listened to our customers on cloud and delivered Xray JQL Functions, which is a massive enhancement for powerful native searching capabilities. These custom JQL functions simplify your querying while also increasing your reporting precision, enabling deeper insights with less digging. For example, you can quickly find tests which have no steps or tests associated to your requirements. And the best part about these is that they can be layered into your existing JQL queries and filters. The feature is currently in beta, but it's available to all Xray users upon request at no additional cost. Just open a ticket with our support team if you would like to take advantage of the Xray JQL functions. And the third major theme under Customer First is how we empower you to see, analyze, and act on your quality data. The new reporting center is a complete overhaul of how you interact with your Xray built-in reports. This intuitive and unified reporting center UI makes it easier than ever to find the exact report you need. More importantly, we've introduced a suite of new powerful reports. Reports like the Test Evolution Gadget, which helps you spot trends and understand how your statuses are changing over time, and the Defect Traceability Report, which gives you an end-to-end view from defect to requirement, ensuring nothing falls through the cracks. We've also added specialized reports like the Test Execution List Report, and we support test iteration status details, giving the project and release managers granular visibility required to make informed go and no-go decisions. This isn't just a refresh, it's about providing you with actionable and audit-ready data at your fingertips. Our continued investment in reporting capabilities aims to keep you in the driver's seat with full control over all your testing activities. And onto our second pillar is performance and flexibility. Here, we're laser focused on giving our large enterprise customers the control they need to manage quality at scale. We know that as you grow, visibility and governance are critical. This year, we've delivered the tools that you've asked for with test status per project. This means individual teams can now customize test statuses to match their unique workflows and governance needs without affecting the global standard. This is a huge win for autonomy. We've also added some admin catered features as well. The new usage monitor gives admin teams full, transparent visibility into adoption and usage across your entire organization. Hand in hand with that is storage management, which allows you to proactively monitor and manage your Xray data footprint, ensuring optimal performance. Speaking of performance, Bernardo, would you like to highlight this year's performance improvements?
Finally, underpinning all of this, there was a continuous investment in performance and user experience. Across more than 25 releases, we have steadily optimized Xray to ensure it remains a fast and responsive solution, even when managing very large test libraries. In parallel, we also improved key UX areas such as page loading behavior and the way components load and unblock to reduce perceived latency and keep you productive. With that foundation in place, let's now look on how we package all of this power. So to support your growth and flexibility, we reorganized how Xray scales with you. We introduced clear app editions, defining Xray Standard, Xray Advanced, and the new Xray Enterprise individual app. Xray Advanced was designed for teams and organizations where test automation is core part in their delivery process. It builds on the standard experience by offering higher API rate limiting, increased storage, and detailed usage monitoring, enabling automation-heavy workflows to run reliably at scale. This tier is ideal for teams that need more operational freedom, better visibility into consumption, and a stronger support for CI/CD-driven testing strategies. Xray Enterprise, in the other half, is a separate, dedicated app tailored for large, global organizations with mission-critical quality requirements. It provides a streamlined procurement process with enterprise-grade support and an expanded feature set designed to operate reliably across thousands of users and projects. Xray Enterprise removes scaling constraints and operational friction, ensuring that quality management can grow in lockstep with the organization size, complexity, and all the compliance needs. This new packaging means you always have the right Xray solution for your scale. And now let's dive into our crucial cloud readiness pillar. So the cloud readiness addresses the critical transition to Jira Cloud. First, we significantly reduced the feature parity gap, ensuring teams can move without compromising key capabilities. In parallel, we invested heavily in our migration tooling, improving both data extraction from data center and data ingestion into cloud to deliver faster and more reliable migrations. At the start of the year, migration 1 million test runs took between 6 and 8 hours. Today, the same migration completes in approximately 25 minutes. Overall, we are now moving your data to the cloud up to 15 times faster. Additionally, security and compliance were paramount. We achieved support for Atlassian Government Cloud, AGC, meeting the highest government security standards. We also launched data residency options in Germany, and importantly, we support Atlassian custom domains, ensuring a consistent professional user experience in the cloud. And finally, we invested heavily in Forge readiness by launching Xray as a Connect on Forge app. This works ensures that Xray is built in the modern, performant, and secure foundation of Atlassian Cloud, guaranteeing you the best experience now and for the future. In retrospect, 2025 was defined by acceleration. Over 25 releases delivering intelligent quality through AI, enterprise readiness through Xray Enterprise Individual App, plus app editions, and seamless migration to the cloud.
2025 was a great year for Xray, and we're constantly working to empower your team to achieve quality at scale. We plan to continue this in 2026. Thanks to everyone for being a part of the Xray community, and now we'll hand it back over to Francisco.
Thank you, Bernardo and Chris, for the great overview of everything the team accomplished the past year. 2025 was truly an incredible year for Xray, and that success was only possible because of our continued collaboration with you, our users. Your feedback inspires us and it challenges us, and it pushes us to keep improving. We're truly grateful for the trust you place in us every single day. But this year's success wasn't achieved by Xray alone. Our partners played a major role in expanding our reach, driving innovation, and helping more than 10,000 customers around the world get even more value from Xray. We want to take a moment to recognize their contributions and highlight some of their achievements from this past year. Let's hear directly from our partners, who have a few messages they'd like to share with us.
Hi, Xray team. Looking back on 2025, I'm really proud of what we accomplished together. Our joint webinar on compliance reporting was a huge success. I also launched a brand new digital course for regulated customers and delivered private training to several new companies. It was a busy year with plenty of challenges, but the partnership made it incredibly rewarding. Thanks for being such a great team to work with, and I'm looking forward to 2026.
Hey, Xray. At Swarmit, we are looking back at a great 2025, especially by winning the Xray Partner of the Year award. It was an honor to receive the trophy personally handed over by Xray this year at Team 25 in Anaheim. We showed our partnership in many ways. We supported customers in improving their testing organization, but also had this joint booth at the Greatest Quality Convention in Zurich. Looking forward to many more adventures with you guys. Have a great time and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Hi, Xray and testing community. Thank you for naming us the best service provider for a second year running. This means the world to us. 2025 has been exceptional. We completed more than 25 successful Xray migrations by supporting clients with trust and clarity. We also invested deeply in our community by creating more than 10 educational materials and resources to help teams improve their testing processes by using Xray, AI, and modern testing frameworks. Working with a partner who shares our vision of turning challenges into solutions and driving real success is something we deeply value. Thank you, Xray.
Okay, hello. Hey, it's very great working with the Xray and all the others. We now have over 50 clients in the Finland and the Nordics area, and we've been working a lot on different projects with these guys, and it's been fun.
And we help them to move from data center to the cloud and helping them on the migration to make sure also their processes are improved on the way.
And one of the new features that we've been looking at as well is the AI test generation, which is actually looking cool. So that might be something that is really helping us in the future as well.
Thank you, Xray.
Thank you.
Hi, Xray team. 2025 was a fantastic year. We migrated about 24,000 tests, about 3,000 test execution, and 2,000 test plans, a huge milestone for our team. Thanks to this strong collaboration, we are excited for what's next together. Ciao!
Wow, wait a second. Did anyone else notice something just now? It looks like there might have been something a little different in that video. Maybe we just had a small technical glitch. Let's find out what really happened. I'm going to bring in Daniela Santos, Xray Marketing Director, to help us understand what's going on here. Daniela, can you tell us what just happened?
This is not a technical glitch. What you saw was Xray's new logo, and today you are seeing it firsthand. It marks the start of a broader transformation already underway at Xray. That transformation is about one clear idea: making quality a natural part of every DevOps workflow so teams can ship faster and with confidence. And that matters because while Xray stays the same at its core, the leading Jira native test management tool, the product itself, and how teams build software have evolved a lot. So today marks the introduction of the new face of Xray, a refreshed identity that reflects where Xray is now and where it's heading next. At first glance, the logo may feel familiar, and that's intentional. The core green remains, because it's more than a color. It stands for trust, recognition, and it's the visual signal our community already associates with Xray. You will also see the lightning bolt, a symbol we introduced before, now refined, sharper, and more intentional. It represents what Xray stands for today: speed, precision, and clarity in how teams work and make decisions. The goal was not to bring another lightning bolt. To make it distinctive, we blended rounded and straight lines and added subtle depth. This gives the symbol more structure without making it heavier. The most visible change is that the lightning bolt now lives inside the rounded square. It adds structure, improves contrast, and keeps the logo clear across different backgrounds. This also gives a clear app icon language, which connects directly to our presence in the Atlassian marketplace, inside product interfaces, and future AI and DevOps integrations. This makes Xray easy to recognize in a grid of apps, which is where brand decisions are actually made today and ready to scale into future use cases. The typography was also refined. We kept it lowercase to avoid any confusion around the name Xray. And we adopted a rounded, geometric typeface aligned with the same family to keep the brand approachable and easy to read at small sizes. With the introduction of app editions, Xray is now one product available in 3 tiers: Standard, Advanced, and Enterprise. All tiers share the same symbol and typography, so Xray always shows up as one consistent brand. Differences are expressed in the color, built from the core Xray green. Standard uses the foundation tone customers already recognize. Advanced is a slightly darker, more mature green, reflecting increased complexity and scale. Enterprise uses the darkest green and adds a dedicated accent color designed for depth and long-term trust. The neutral tones balance stronger colors and allow the brand to stay calm when needed. This is a brand evolution that reflects where Xray is today and where it's going next. Same Xray, a clearer structure, ready to scale. From fast-moving startups to global enterprises, Xray connects teams to release faster, smarter, and with the confidence that quality is never compromised. With AI-powered intelligence supporting teams as software delivery evolves. This is a progressive effort over the coming months. Changes will start appearing gradually across different touchpoints. Keep an eye out and share how it feels. We would love to hear your feedback. See you soon.
Well, that explains it. Now that you've seen a glimpse of what Xray's future, it's time to look ahead at what the future of testing will look like, especially in this fast-moving, AI-driven world we're living in. To explore that, I'm thrilled to welcome 2 experts on the subject. First, our own Director of Solution Architecture and host of the QA Therapy podcast, Xray, and joining him, Dragan Spiridonov, an Agentic Quality Engineer and founder of the Quantum Quality Engineering. He is known for his practitioner-first approach and is currently establishing the Serbian chapter of Agentic's Foundation. His latest projects, Sentinel and the Agentic QE Fleet, are both open-source testing platforms built entirely with AI agent swarms, demonstrating real, practical patterns for human-AI collaboration in quality engineering. Together, they'll dive into how software development and testing are evolving into Agentic Quality Engineering. Sergio, Dragan, over to you.
Thank you, Francisco. With me, I have here Dragan. Dragan Spiridonov is working on the testing field for almost 30 years. And I met Dragan a few years back at Agile Testing Days, and he's like a frequent attendee and also a speaker. And this year, he was there talking a bit about agentic quality engineering. And that's a bit the topic that brings us today here. And with many, many years in this field of expertise, it's interesting to see how testing is moving forward. So, Dragan, we saw like all these trends moving on. Like first of all, people started learning test automation, then low code or no code solutions, and now where is all this going on? Like where do you see testing moving forward with the latest advancements that we have in our field?
So with this heavy load of LLM and AI-assisted tools that are coming our way, I would say that we are just getting a new tool that we can use in our tool set as experienced software tester, quality assurance engineers, or quality engineers, or however we want to call ourselves. This is just a new tool where certain things can be done much faster and our reach can be much wider, let me say in that way. What still stays quite relevant are the things that are only humans still good at, that is critical thinking, validation, human experience, as Tariq that expressed that in the his great keynote in the Agile Testing Days. So that's where we should put our attention and let the tools do the heavy lifting for us.
So it's interesting that in the end you position all these things as tools, no matter what we call them. In the end, they are tools that we have and we can use, right? And so taking a step back, what how would you elaborate on what is like agentic engineering and agentic quality engineering? This topic that you have been exploring for quite a while.
So this is a new field that emerged. It is being coined as I would say agentic engineers, and agentic engineer is something that is coming our way. Agentic Foundation is trying to define how and what this means and prepare us to understand this better. So I will try my best to do some short explanation. It's really building the systems where agents operate with autonomy, goals that are defined by human, and the ability to take their own independent actions by reasoning about the environment in which they are executing the tasks that were given or trying to reach the goal by executing multiple tasks on the way or connecting multiple agents into the workflow or parallel streams to get to the end result. It really brings that agents should be proactive. They could identify risk before they become bugs. So like from the quality engineering perspective, that means detecting the tests that can fail, flaky tests, that detect the changes made in the code and the impact to the existing testing infrastructure, what needs to be updated. So like impact assessment of the regression changes, complexity analysis of the code. And all of these agents should be done autonomously within the defined boundaries and in collaboration in between, if they're working as swarms, yes, or with the human in the loop, or human in control, or human on the loop. So different approaches how to do this with keeping the focus on what actually matters, target that was giving them and goal that they need to reach.
So it's like having all team working for you, right? And where you have to provide like some guidance, some intervention here and there, right?
Yes, but the goal is to have as least human intervention as possible.
Okay.
So that's like the end goal, to make them autonomous as possible, but with the certain points where human intervention and reasoning is needed.
And the question that comes to my mind is, do these agents, can they learn throughout the process, right? Similar, well, to a point similar to humans. Can they learn and for the next time so they can do things a little better?
Yeah, there are, let's say, new tools being developed by other members of the Agentic Foundation that, and not only by them, but in the field itself, using different approaches like memory banks, but not only memory banks, more of like a reasoning banks that can allow agents not only to save the memory, but to reason out of those memories and learn on the patterns that are being repeated in the project. So yes, they can increase their pattern recognition with a certain level of confidence with each time they execute the tasks. At least, these agents that I'm working on and developing.
So, Dragan, this is quite different from the traditional vibe coding that people are doing, right?
Yes,
it's
definitely.
like several steps ahead.
But let's see, both approaches, both vibe coding and agentic engineering has their own benefits and for what they should be used. So, and practices. So let's say vibe coding is for fast experimentation. It is maybe misplaced in the community like it's something bad, but it's not bad if you want to really brainstorm and experiment and do a fast MVP and test your idea and check if you can have like a proof of concept or a working MVP in less than a day, in like a couple of hours with some of these coding agents, and it gives you really like fast experimentation time. It's good for demos, prototypes, simple scripts, but if you want to go deeper and developed production grade applications, then you need structured goal settings with clear success criteria, quality gates implemented at certain checkpoints in your CI/CD pipeline with different phases. And let's say it's not only that some validation can be done by the agents, but there are different types of additional layers of agents checking other agents, even using like an LLM as a judge as one of the approaches, or using voting systems. So create like a system of 3 to 5 different agents that need to get to the decision if the code is really, let's say, ready to be deployed. So, and again, all this in order to provide and surface the information for a human that needs to decide at the end if what was done was really valuable and done in a proper way. Because agents are there to, their end goal is to finish the task, and they will do whatever it needs to finish the task, meaning they will put the stubs, mocks, they will say something is done, they will put the comments like, oh, this will be implemented in the next phase, and then say, okay, I'm 100% done, and the build doesn't pass. That's why, having multiple layers, again, that's something that comes from traditional approaches, but let's say some of the better practices to use multiple layers with different nets, with different granulation to catch different types of bugs in different phases of the process.
Different aspects, test at different layers, I get it. So one thing that I found really interesting, because I saw it, you showed to me some time ago, the QE fleet that you have, with how many agents right now, Dragan? Almost 20 or
no, 30. So it's 19, 30. Yeah, specialized one plus like main agents and 11 sub agents that are really like for specific tasks that go more granular into details. Yes.
In a nutshell, for our attendees and listeners, what do these agents do, and can they actually use them, these agents, in their own projects?
Yeah, they have different roles for different phases of your process. So if you have some requirements only, like if you're just at the beginning of the process, you can use the quality engineer requirements analyzer to analyze that. When that agent analyzes requirements, it can create also BDD scenarios. After that, test generator agent can create tests of unit, integration, and end-to-end level, depending on your stack. So, choose your stack in which you want to generate tests. You will get the test generated. yeah, then there is text executor that can execute tests, and there is a flaky hunter that watches the test execution and hunts for the tests that are failing and checks, what needs to be done. Use like a coverage analyzer, quality gate, security scanner, all can be organized in fleets. So you can either initialize single agents, or you can say, use QA Fleet Manager to organize the complete quality pipeline to check whole code base, starting from the requirement to the code, tests, execution, logs. So, pick your part of the SDLC, or any phase in the SDLC, and there is an agent that can be plugged into that phase. Agents
so we can have agents for doing performance testing,
yes,
typical functional testing, cause engineering.
Yeah. So, and all this, okay, this set of agents, Agentic Quality Engineering Fleet, is intended to work inside the Cloud Code, and they will run as a sub-agents inside the Cloud Code. So that's like a limiting factor, but I'm working on maybe creating like a separate environment that will enable that running outside of, any, vendor tools, let's call them like that. And what else is...
So in the end, this is materialized as a set of like markdown files with all the bunch of well-detailed instructions for the agents.
Yeah, so in the Cloud Agents folder, you get like all the definitions for the agents. And not only that, but you have 40-something skills that are combining with agents, where agents are using the skills and skills are calling agents when needed. So you get like a combo of quality, engineering skills and agents that can work on identifying the quality issues in the project and surfacing them up to anyone, from stakeholders involved.
One topic that I remember reading in one of your articles. So Dragan writes a bunch of articles, so I really recommend to go after them. You mentioned grounding and the role of grounding on AI agents. What's the role of grounding? How relevant is that?
Oh, that's highly relevant. Let's just use the example of the classical chat LLMs, either ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude Desktop. Let's use any of them as an example. If you give them like generic prompts without providing any context, you will get generic tests. Like that could be maybe like 15 to 20% useful to your topic. But with proper grounding, depending on the tool you're using. So if you're just prompting inside the chat, give warm-up prompt. So prepare with the context. My project is this tech. This is how I'm writing tests. This is a good example of the test that I would like to, to help me generate. And now I will provide the test scenario in the next prompt. When you provide the test scenario in the next prompt and you already grounded that session into your context, you will get much better results. If you use tools that are inside your development tools, like inside IDE, inside Visual Studio Code, like Klein or Rule Code, they have the memory bank system that when you initialize them inside the project, it will create a set of files that provide grounding for this type of coding agents to work on them. If you use Cloud Code, there is Cloud MD. If you use Codex, there is Agents MD. If you use Gemini, there is again Gemini MD. So each of them have their own basic grounding file to give the basic context, and that's the first layer of grounding in any project. And on top of that, you're adding other grounding rules like a golden documentation. How are you approaching solving problems? And add links in the cloud or different memory banks that then agent can read and follow, and that will keep it really on track when working on tasks. There is still problems. Agents, while working on a task, when they reach certain level of context load, so each agent is working like it gets like each agent has its own context limit. So for instance, Cloud agents have 200k tokens of context, and Gemini has 1 million. But as agents get somewhere between 75 and 85% of the context itself, tokens filled in the context, it will start to get really hard hallucinations, or not only hallucinations, it will forget its basic groundings. So you need to be careful when you're working, and most of these tools provide like a visual track where you can see when it will reach the certain part of the percentage of the context. Some of the tools are doing the autocompact, that's good, but you will notice that before it does the autocompact, it will start misbehaving more. So context rot and hallucination and forgetfulness starts happening somewhere after 75% of context. That's in my experience, at least.
Okay. Dragan, time flies, but I wouldn't want to get to the end without asking this question about, people think that they will do all this code automatically, but there's still a maintenance overhead with all this, right? No. Can you tell us just a bit about it? So, some people
even for those that are using these agents, there is constant need to improve them. So I need to keep working on following what's the best right now, because not only the industry and the models are being changed. Each new version of model will probably break some of the prompts that you were previously using, because they optimize more the model. Then you need to do the cleanup of the memory bank again, test maintenance, code maintenance. So this is again a maintenance of the tool. You need to track the models, keep the prompts updated, more memory bank cleanups, agents calibrations. With these reasoning bank and self-learning capabilities, I expect some improvements there, but that's something that I'm just starting to test, something that I implemented recently, some upgrades, and it's still in testing phase. So, let me see when the agents work more on projects, if less maintenance will be needed, but there will be a lot of time, or let's say most of the time is where you spend doing the reviews of what the agent did. So you get, code and documentation really fast, but then at the end you're spending hours and hours doing the, reading the documents, doing the review, conflict resolutions. That's something that still needs to be solved. How to allow, so there are some tools that are trying to solve that, but how to allow multiple agents. So you have conflicts when even, multiple humans are working on the same project. Imagine now hundreds of thousands of agents working on the same code base.
Yeah.
So
that would be
there are still challenges. And, there is a lot of, need for critical analysis of what agents produce, because they will have beautifully, reports about what was done, but somewhere in the sentence there will be a word, skipped because,
right,
or something like that, that breaks the whole implementation, because this is easier part, I need to finish my task.
Yeah, like mocking the results, for example, or something.
Yeah.
So, Dragan, just to finish, I know that where can people learn more about the agentic quality engineering? Because this seems a very, very interesting topic. And can you give us some pointers to that?
Yes. So the framework itself, because I also developed a framework and the fleet to support that framework. So there are also combination, if you want to get into learning more about agentic quality engineering. So there is agentic -QE.dev. That URL, we'll probably share the URLs later. I will send to you, Sergio, and to guys. There is repo, Agentic Quality Engineering Fleet. You can find it. We'll also share the link later. There is Forge -quality.dev. That's my blog where I'm sharing the stories from trenches. Yes, the Quality Forge, where I'm trying to share the stories from my experience of using agents to build and test other agents. So again, from the quality assurance and quality engineering perspective.
Inception. Thanks, Dragan. It was a pleasure. We could spend here a few hours. but it was really good to have you here to talk a bit about the agentic quality engineering field and all the things that are coming ahead. And hope to see you soon live, and have a great day ahead and a great year, a great 2026. So Francisco, now back to you.
Wow, what an insightful conversation. Thank you so much, Sergio and Dragon, for sharing your expertise with our community and for giving us so much to think about. Speaking of community, I want to take a moment to thank you all for being here with us today. You're an essential part of our journey. You've joined us around the world at industry events, participated in customer advisory boards and feedback sessions, tuned into our webinars, and kept the discussions alive in the Atlassian forums. Your passion and engagement truly makes this the kind of community every company wishes they had behind them. Now, let's hear directly from some of our customers and see how they've been using Xray in their own journeys.
So we really like Xray. We use it a lot across all our Jira instances. The things that really appeal are the way it integrates nicely with Jira, the way we can standardize the way we use it across all our different Jira instances, and drive automations is really making a difference to us.
Hi, I'm Jess with MyJack Products, and this is Simon Fiera.
Simon, MyJack Products.
We have been utilizing Xray, taking everything out of the archaic ways of Excel spreadsheets, Word docs, Post-it notes, and taking those use cases and putting them into such an easy, convenient way for everyone to access. The traceability is awesome, and the convenience of taking that and implementing automations and giving reports to leadership to know where the bugs are, what's happening, why they happen, and being able to add those back into sprints in Jira has been amazing. Great product, love it so much.
Works well for us, thank you.
Absolutely.
These videos were recorded at Atlassian Team 25 Barcelona, one of the biggest events for our community, where Xray users, partners and innovators come together. And since we're on that topic, you're all aware of how important our connection with Atlassian is. For our next session, I'm thrilled to introduce Mark Haney, Sembi's COO, and Alan Braun, VP of Product from Atlassian. They'll be sharing what's next for our collaboration, including exciting developments around Atlassian Rovo, Forge applications, and the future of Atlassian's cloud infrastructure. All set to open a new chapter for teams using Xray and Jira. Mark, Alan, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you, Francisco, for the introduction. And Alan, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Okay, great. Well, I thought, maybe one of the first things we could do, we're a couple of new faces, I think, for a lot of the Xray community. Maybe we could do a little introduction. Let's start with yourself. We're so excited to have you here, Alan. I think you're new to the Atlassian team. Tell us a bit about that.
I am. I joined Atlassian a little over 6 months ago, where I lead the ecosystem here, and I'm responsible for the product teams. So that includes Forge and Marketplace. I also look after our developer advocacy team and really working with the community. So it's a pleasure to meet you all. And then also our Marketplace partnership team. So that's why Mark and I have worked pretty closely since I've joined. We've done a lot together, in fact. And so, yeah, I'm excited to be here. I will tell you, this ecosystem is something I've not seen. The passion, energy, and just feels like a family, to be honest with you. And so I've been thrilled. We've had a great 6 months, and I think we got some pretty exciting things coming ahead.
Oh, that's exactly right. I felt the bond as well since I've joined. I'm also new to Xray and the broader Sembi organization in the past year. I've joined about 10 months ago. I'm the Chief Operations Officer in charge of product, our R&D, and the operations of the company. So I've got a lot I'm ramping up on as well. One of the bright spots, I think, is actually our new leadership forum, Alan, that you and I have been participating in. We're meeting on a regular basis and aligning on the strategic topics at the top and making sure our teams have a shared vision, which I think has been very fruitful so far. So thanks for your time there.
Yeah, of course. I think that's been great.
Obviously, like our users that are with us today live and breathe in Jira and Confluence and Xray on a daily basis. So I know that they're looking forward to hearing from you a little bit about kind of what to expect in the year ahead and what are some of those exciting innovations. I thought the first topic we could start with today is really maybe about the cloud. We all know that that's a big part of the future. There have been some major investments from Atlassian in cloud infrastructure. I hoped you could maybe just kind of share a bit about that vision and maybe just some of the benefits and reasons that you continue to invest in kind of a cloud experience for the customers.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone would know at this point with our recent announcement with Ascend and the end of life of the data center that we're all in on the cloud. And we've been investing pretty heavily on a cloud-first strategy. And it starts with first enhancing our cloud offering to new cloud environments. So we have private cloud and government cloud. And the reason we're doing this is it has benefits like data isolation, enhanced security, ensuring we keep up with compliance and improve control for our users, which historically has only been available in our server and data center products. We also introduced this notion of collections, and candidly, we couldn't do this without the cloud. So what are collections? There's 4 of them currently, and they're basically a curated group of Atlassian apps. And so we have Teamwork Collection, we have Strategy Collection, Service Collection, and Software Collection. And what this is doing is enabling us to bring the Atlassian platform to new kinds of users. Let's be honest, historically, we've been working with software IT-based users, and now we're moving more into the business user realm and connecting the entire organization together. And the cloud allows us to do that and bring everything together in one place. And we call this the system of work. And the system of work is really on 4 principles. It's aligning work to goals, it's planning and tracking work, it's unleashing the collective knowledge, and then it's realizing the full power of our AI teammates. And we'll talk a little bit more about Rovo, I'm sure, but bringing AI capabilities and allowing us to innovate on top of the cloud is really what this is about. So yeah, I would say from a platform perspective, that's the cloud story. Now in the ecosystem, I think we have an incredible opportunity to leverage the power of AI, the performance of the cloud, the opportunity to leverage data, and really build new experiences that are more vertical, more horizontal, and richer, and adding more value ultimately to the customer to do those things that I said.
That's right. Those are such exciting topics. And I know that we've been working with your team on, for example, the Teamwork Graph initiative. We've been adopting some Rovo things, and we've got those topics teed up for today, but I bet we could talk the whole time about it. But let's one step at a time before I get too excited. One of the things that I'm thinking about a lot, and we've talked about, is to unlock all that power and all those potentials in the cloud, you got to get from data center to the cloud first, right? So the cloud migration kind of journey that a lot of our users still have to go. That's been an area I think that kind of we've been investing in heavily, and working with your teams transparently to get there. Maybe you have some more thoughts on kind of how that transition works or why it's worth the journey for some of those folks that are still kind of looking at it from the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, I think first we're developing products that are frankly only available in the cloud. We could talk about Rovo, we talk about Focus, Talent, or Loom. And due to the connectivity with other Atlassian apps, this allows teams, not only development teams, but business teams to work together. So like I said, that vision of the system of work, which is really connecting the company's people, tools, data, and workflows together so they can operate with clarity and consistency. Look, we worked for a lot of companies, and I will tell you at Atlassian, I'll just say internally, I'm blown away at how our KR and our goals ladder through the entire organization. At any given point, I can go look at a goal in my org and I can see how our finance team is working with us, how our marketing team is working, how our engineering teams are working. And so the cloud really gives us that opportunity to enhance or align teams to collaborate and make decisions faster. And that's ultimately why I would say, now I know it's not an easy journey to go from the data center to the cloud as we've been working through. But I think what we have to do is educate the community and the customer of how can you run your business better once you're there. So that's really what it's all about, is the value that you get. And then I would say lastly is the pace of innovation. We are innovating like crazy. And look, in the AI landscape, the world's moving quickly. We have to keep up with the pace of innovation. And I think we've done a lot to really bring all these platform apps and the apps that you know and love, like Jira and Confluence, together so we can build these enhanced experiences.
Oh, I love it. And I think that culture that you're experiencing at Atlassian is much of what we're trying to drive at Xray as well. As I've joined the company, we've done a similar thing, which is a high alignment throughout the teams, not just the technical teams in engineering and product, but the operations team, the support team, our go-to-market teams, and just using a lot of Atlassian tools to actually gain that alignment. So we're drinking from the fire hose as well and just loving it. So I like that. The second topic I wanted to move to, so we think about cloud. One of the big innovations I think that you guys are working on, we're investing in as well, is Forge. And so there's a number of different kind of, I think, innovations within Forge. There's a different ways of thinking about it, but I bet that there's a number of our users here on this session today, on this event, that are probably scratching their heads on what exactly Forge is and what it means. Maybe you could start with just a quick overview of how you see Forge and the benefits it will bring our community.
Yeah, I think that's great. I love talking about Forge. And I think you're right. A lot of people don't even realize it exists, let alone what it is. You can think of Forge as the extensibility layer for Atlassian. And so what we've done is we've built an infrastructure platform that allows you to easily build apps and product extensions today, where AI experiences moving forward and more vertical standalone apps moving forward on top of this infrastructure. So you can do this in a safe way. And now, as part of Forge, we also provide a development environment. And ultimately, what we want is for developers to find joy in being able to develop these experiences and candidly to build businesses on top of them. And so the Forge is a serverless platform. It's built on AWS, which means developers can build apps more quickly and they can focus on the innovation and functionalities like workflow automation and custom UIs and data integrations rather than managing the infrastructure. And also what we have is we have this thing called Runs on Atlassian, which is this category of apps that brings customers confidence that when it runs entirely on our platform, customers can be confident that it's secure, that data is managed correctly. And so apps like Xray are runs on Atlassian apps. And what we're finding is the customer signals are really positive here. And so you can think about Forge as just a quick way to get going, to really extend the platform for your needs. And as we think about system of work and going beyond the IT user into the business user, we have new data, we have new workflows, we have new automations that we need to bring in for all of these teams to align together. And Forge gives you that perfect environment to do that.
Yeah, that's right. As you know, we've been working with you and your teams quite heavily on kind of investing in Forge and getting Xray over to that Forge framework. In fact, we've built a dedicated team just to focus on this. We're excited, I think, about some of the innovations you mentioned around being able to build right onto the same framework that your teams are using and access to the same data. But you mentioned the runs on Atlassian, specifically, and I bet that is one that's especially interesting for our users. Could we double click on that for a moment and just kind of what distinguishes, let's say, just a Forge app from a Forge runs on Atlassian app, and what are those benefits there?
Yeah, great question. So let's talk about the Forge infrastructure for a minute. What we've tried to do is make it really easy to give a set of building blocks like serverless, like containers, like SQL, where it's really easy to build your apps in an infrastructure that you can trust. And what we quickly realized for certainly the smaller developers, this provides a huge benefit that they don't need to manage the infrastructure in their environment. As we go further down the enterprise road, enterprises have a little more complex architecture where they need access to data lakes or data AI pipelines or ML pipelines or shared containers. So that's a little different. Why we designed Runs on Atlassian was we wanted to give customers confidence that if a Forge app was running on our infrastructure, and by the way, it doesn't need to, but if it does, and it doesn't egress data out of our infrastructure, we badge the app in the marketplace Runs on Atlassian. This gives customers confidence, and they're able to understand that this app is something they can trust. It runs securely, and not only does it not data or egress data, it also connects securely into Jira, into Confluence, and ensuring that you're doing everything right from an architectural point of view. And I will tell you, we are looking at expanding this a bit. We know that Runs on Atlassian, it serves a purpose, and by the way, the reaction's been great. The customer response has been fantastic. The feedback I'm getting is, like I said earlier, some of the enterprise developers want a little more flexibility to make architectural decisions for things that run outside of the infrastructure. And so we're looking at ways to do it, but at the core of this, I want to do a couple things. One, I want it to be easy to develop on the platform. But two, I want to ensure that customers trust when they install an app, they have confidence that it's not going to go do something that they don't expect. And so this is just a core principle as we develop the roadmap, as we look at expanding it. And coming from my AWS background, looking at things like well-architected frameworks to ensure that we can give customers confidence around the architecture of their apps.
I know that that's something we've been asked a lot is about kind of, hey, we always, and when we talk with new customers, get questionnaires around how do you host the data? Where is it? What's the infrastructure look like? And just having to go through that for every partner when you're putting together a solution is always a challenge for the security and compliance teams, that's for sure. So I assume if you invest in Runs on Atlassian like Xray is doing heavily, as new customers adopt cloud, they can say, actually, I'm just going to check this off as it's all runs on Atlassian. It's already been through the compliance framework. Like I'm ready to go. Is that kind of some of the vision of how it comes together?
100%. And what we've been doing is Runs on Atlassian serves that purpose. Immediately, customers can check the box. They've got confidence. What we've also been looking at is how do we enhance the marketplace to actually surface some of the security signals that a team would need as they go through their security assessment. It turns out when you build a Forge app, there's a manifest file associated with that Forge app. Just think of this as a descriptor of everything that that Forge app does. We're looking at how do we take more of that manifest file and actually surface that in the marketplace listing. Is the feedback I'm getting is runs on Atlassian, check, great, I can move. If it's not runs on Atlassian, how do I quickly identify what the app does so I don't have to go through a thorough security review before I do that? And so, yeah, then we've been looking at what can we do to really ease the procurement and that security process and give customers confidence to install these apps.
Okay, that's great. I love the kind of dual offering there. Excellent. So everybody's excited. We're investing heavily in that one. But the third topic, which I think everybody wanted to probably talk about first, is Rovo and AI. As you said, the pace of AI is just changing so greatly every day. There seems like there's a new innovation being had and a different headline in the market, I would say. But Rovo has been around for over a year now. I want to say it launched back in October of 24, and it's really one of those key pieces of the Atlassian offering today. For those of the members in the audience that aren't that familiar with Rovo, maybe you could just start us off with, what is Rovo? Some of the highlights of that tool.
Sure. Yeah, Rovo got announced a little, like you said, a little over a year ago. And Team EU this year, we announced some major new things, though, that is really changing the game with Rovo. So what is Rovo? Rovo is our AI-powered assistant, and it uses AI to understand how you interact with your organization's knowledge, and it acts as an intelligent partner. I think about it as my coach. I use Rovo every day, all day. What it's doing is it's connecting knowledge, people, and workflows so your teams can move faster. Now, what is Rovo under the covers? Well, there's three real experiences in Rovo. First, search, being able to find everything in your enterprise at your fingertips when you need it. I find I use this a ton when I'm looking for documents. We all go through this. I want to go find a page I read a few weeks ago. How do I find it? But even further, what it does is not just give me the page, but it gives me all the connecting pages around it. So I get the initial page I wanted, but then I can get more data. The second is chat. And so we have Rovo Chat, which is just like any other chat agent that you've used, with the exception of one thing. We have all of the context from the Atlassian platform, as well as context from Teamwork Graph. So we have a bunch of connectors, over 50 connectors, where we bring enterprise data in. So when you're doing a search, I met with a partner this morning, in fact, and I went in Rovo. So can you just give me the history of this relationship and what things I need to know as I walk in? And it gave me a full brief in seconds, just of all the knowledge we had about that partner, which was super helpful. And then we also have Studio. We introduced Rovo Studio. Rovo Studio is another app where you can create apps and agents using just simple language. It's like vibe coding your own apps and agents. Now, what I think about the collection of that, so those are three app experiences of search. We've got chat, we've got Studio. We also have a growing set of agents. And this is where it starts to get really interesting. And it's when you can start to, what we're saying is have virtual teammates within your team that are a set of agents that can perform a set of tasks. So let's imagine, and we demoed this, you can go watch some of our keynotes. Let's imagine for a minute, you have a Jira ticket, and that Jira ticket is about an event coming up. And it talks about the dimensions of all the visuals that we need created for the banners, the booths. And you could assign that Jira ticket to a Canva agent. That Canva agent, fully autonomous, will go off, create the graphics based on the description inside of the Jira ticket, and attach those images back onto the Jira ticket, and then assign it back to the owner. And so we're starting to look at Jira as the orchestration platform for how it will orchestrate using agents, leveraging Rovo as the AI platform, but using agents as a way to get work done. And how do we continue to look at multi-agent capabilities? So maybe it's not just one agent, but it's multiple agents. So how are we looking at using agents as virtual teammates? That's just a quick overview of how we think about Rovo. And now Rovo's free for everyone also, which is a big announcement that we made in Team EU.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm learning new things every day in this entire space, and I think the the combination of the marketplace and what Atlassian has and Rovo interacting across the two. The thing we're most excited about is that extension into the marketplace. So Rovo not only operates within the Atlassian and that data that's there, but also operates with Xray data. We've been working on a Rovo feature that we're really excited about. I mean, a number of different features. And what we found is by leveraging that kind of natural language capability, the ability to talk to Rovo, right? The access to the data, in particular, the teamwork graph feature that we're working on right now, we found that it can take on some of those day-to-day tasks for our users, some of those repetitive things like, running reports or generating graphs and charts, doing that search into Xray data as well. Even taking a lot of that data and then publishing it into Confluence in a structured way so you have the history of things to come. So the merging together of data from both systems enabled by AI and Rovo, I mean, it's really impressive. And so we've been big fans and we've been seeing it in our sprint reviews and now pushing out functionality to our users. So we're hopeful that this is going to have a big impact. So count us in the excited camp for sure. The other thing I wanted to talk about on the topic of AI, you obviously have vendors like us who are investing in their own AI features outside of Rovo. I'm not sure if our community is aware, but we've invested in AI features that are built within Xray. Our parent company, Sembi, has built a framework called Sembi IQ, and we're building our own features. In fact, we just launched a feature called Test Case Generation, where you can provide your input. Test cases generated for you automatically. A lot of our users are giving us some big responses on that. From your standpoint, obviously this is going to be happening in addition to what Rovo is doing. Can you talk a bit about Atlassian kind of in the support for that type of an offering from the marketplace into Atlassian, as well as what's going on with Rovo?
Well, let's actually peel that back a bit. You said a bunch. You talked about the capabilities that you're building inside of Xray and how that's maybe interacting with Rovo. I'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about largely, like when you're building more AI features, how can we interact with them? It turns out that what we've done is Rovo is fully extensible from the start, which is fantastic. And so Rovo, what it does is you get into Rovo Studio, it uses something called skills. Very similar to Claude, if you've used Claude, is a pretty common pattern now, where Rovo can leverage skills, and skills are a set of tools that talk to outside environments. And by the way, one of those outside environments could be a Forge app like Xray. And so it turns out in Forge, if you define a set of actions called Forge actions, they will show up as skills inside of Rovo. And so what this means is if Xray defines a skill called create a test case, and it defines how to do that, when you're building in Rovo Studio, if I want to create an agent that will automatically create test cases, I can use that skill from your app directly. And so what we're trying to do is really encourage our marketplace partners that are building marketplace apps to expose more and more capabilities as skills. So that's one way. The second way you can do this is building an MCP server. And so within Rovo, you can add an MCP server, and that's another way for skills to show up where it leverages the MCP directly. So if you don't have a Forge app and you don't have you don't want to build a Forge app, you can just leverage an MCP server. And in fact, with Canva and some of the other, we're exploring some third parties, Figma. How do we leverage some of those MCP servers directly inside of Rovo? Now, let's go a step further. Let's say you've built your own AI capabilities. We're also about to introduce, this is early days, but Forge LLM, which will allow you to leverage, it actually leverages Amazon Bedrock under the covers. And so we're going to expose the idea that you can use models inside of your Forge app to go build your own AI capabilities. So again, with the spirit of Forge, we want to bring the infrastructure to you, but we also recognize, like in your case, you might be using OpenAI already. You might have an AI platform already. And with that, you can use Forge Remote to go connect into your existing infrastructure, leverage that, and then pull it back into Forge. What we've done with Forge is we've created UI Kit. So it means that the experience the user sees feels like an Atlassian experience, even though you might be leveraging outside platform capabilities. And even if you're in a chat, actually a Rovo chat, you could go use your outside capabilities, but when the response comes back, it'll be presented in a common way that a user expects inside of Rovo. And so like I said from the start, Rovo's been built in an extensible way since day one, and we continue to iterate and look at what are the capabilities we need to put in to ensure that the developer community has everything they need to build these types of experiences.
That's great. That's exactly kind of what I was thinking. If you feel like me on this topic, it just seems like every day there's a new innovation, a new approach, a new use case. And so obviously marketplace vendors like Xray are going to be innovating on all sorts of things in a hyper fast way. You guys will be innovating. And so having those three different kind of extension points and integration points kind of allows for that creative innovation to occur on both sides, and then a common connection points, because it does need to be that unified UI and seamless experience if we're going to get all those business users and technology users all aligned on those corporate objectives like we talked about at the start. I love it, and I appreciate all the support that you guys have provided. Those are some big updates, Alan. I just wanted to thank you again for your time. I think those are kind of the big things we wanted to cover here. And just again, thank you for your partnership and all the alignment between Xray and Atlassian. I think we're closer than ever, and our customers are feeling those benefits with big updates and a big roadmap to come.
Yeah, right back at you, Mark. Thanks for having me first and giving me an opportunity to talk about the platform. But equally as important, I think our partnership has really grown over the last couple of months. I'm excited to see what we can do together. I think with AI, and we kind of just hit on it, with software collection and AI, there's a big opportunity for us to continue to work together. And I think we're building the foundation right now, focused on migrations and getting people over to the cloud. And I think very quickly, how do we get into these AI capabilities? And I just appreciate the way your team leans in and we continue to innovate together.
That's right. Yes, it's a strong partnership, and gosh, the future is amazing when you think about all these things coming together. So, Alan, thank you again for your time. It's been a great pleasure talking with you today. I'm sure our community has benefited. And Francisco, thanks for arranging this discussion, and we'll send it back to you. So thanks again.
Thank you both, Mark and Alan, for that inspiring glimpse into the future. I know I'm not the only one feeling excited about what's ahead. This truly sounds like the place to be. And speaking of the future, I'm sure many of you are wondering what's next for Xray in 2026. So, without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Judy Bossi, VP of Product Management at Sembi. Judy oversees the global product strategy and development across all Sembi brands, including Xray. She's here to share what's coming next and what you can look forward to in the year ahead. Judy, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Francisco. Here are the 3 product focus areas for 2026. First, DC to cloud migrations. We want to support Atlassian's cloud-first strategy, so we're looking to help DC customers migrate to Xray Cloud as quickly and as seamlessly as possible. To do this, we are investing heavily in improving the cloud migration process for performance and reliability. Next, for Atlassian Forge, as Alan from Atlassian explains, their new Forge framework provides a lot of benefits for our customers, including scalability, performance, and security, since everything runs on the Atlassian cloud. To unlock Forge benefits for our customers, we are working on a multi-phase transformation approach behind the scenes. Last but not least, AI for Xray. Outside of these 2 focus areas, the Xray team is investing a large majority of our time innovating using AI. We know how important it is to accelerate software testing to keep up with AI-driven development, and I'm happy to dig into this further. For 2026, we already have an exciting lineup for the next phase of AI features using SembiIQ, our central AI infrastructure. Here are 3 features that are coming soon. First, automated script generation to help you speed up the conversion of manual tests to automated tests. Next, test prioritization to help you prioritize the time spent on testing by analyzing your test plans to surface the most important areas. Next, test case updates to alleviate the test maintenance burden. Let me give you a preview for each of these features. AI automated script generation. We all know that test automation is the key to releasing faster, but converting your manual tests to automation is time-consuming and expensive, especially if you don't have a lot of automated testers on your team. With this feature, we give you a way to speed up the whole process by turning your existing tests into actionable coded scripts without the need for coding experience. We're planning to support the most common automated frameworks and languages, including Playwright, Selenium, and Ranorex to start. Here's a preview of what's been developed so far. First, start from an existing test case. The new button to generate an automated script is here. You're going to select your framework and language and input a version name that's easily referenceable later. You can refer back to linked work items and input a user prompt here to generate an automated script. This will send the instructions to AI, which will then return back a description text, files for configurations, dependencies, plus your automated script. Notice the description guides you through a list of to-dos to refine the test before you can run it. This includes adding parameters like the URL for your application or your element IDs. From here, you can continue to interact with AI to make adjustments as needed to the test script. Let's say you want to test invalid credentials. This will help improve the output with a brand new script that incorporates these changes. This feature helps you learn more about the building blocks for automation. So rather than create a script from scratch, we give you a guide to make these scripts actionable. Once this is done, you can download the script or copy to a clipboard to input into your IDE. And when you're done, create the automated test, which will create a new automated test version. From here, you can download the generated files again, or in the future, you can replace them with your final script later for traceability. AI test prioritization. This next feature uses AI to automatically prioritize tests in your test plans and test executions, so you can make planning decisions more confidently. AI prioritization analyzes a large set of varied data, including historical results, flakiness, failure rate, recent defects, and user input to determine which tests matter the most right now. Instead of manually reviewing massive test histories, we give you two fields to give you a sense of the risk before testing even starts. First, AI priority is a list of values ranging from very high to low, so you can see a relative order of tests that matter. Second, AI reasoning, so you can understand why a test is prioritized higher. Let's say, for example, your test is linked to a high severity bug. That might be more important than a frequently run test. Users can stay in control by tuning this logic with prompts, specific fields, and flexible look-back windows. And we know for testing, every second counts, so prioritization is key. Note, we are still recruiting candidates for the closed beta on this feature, so let us know if you're interested in participating. Next, AI test case updates. This upcoming feature dramatically reduces the time it takes to keep your test cases up to date. We know how cumbersome it is when your requirements change. Having to update each and every individual test case can take a massive amount of time. Using AI test case updates, instead of manually rewriting these tests from scratch, you can simply input a prompt or point back to the linked Jira issue to check for any discrepancies. Our AI quickly understands the difference between the existing test and proposes relevant updates, such as adding new test steps, improving existing ones for clarity, or modifying the test name or description to reflect the latest changes. Let's say your button on the login page needs to change from login to saying confirm. Instead of combing through every single test case or test step that requires this change, we allow you to do it systematically. And with this feature, you can even update your linked requirement and simply point back to the linked issue to say, make sure your test case steps cover the latest changes. Don't worry, your test case won't change without your consent. We'll give you a preview on the suggestions and even allow you to tweak those changes so you stay in full control. and every accepted update is tracked for auditability. The impact here is faster maintenance, higher quality tests, and test suites that stay continuously aligned with your product as it evolves. Again, we're also recruiting candidates for this closed beta, so we'd love to hear from you. A quick note on Atlassian Rovo. Xray already supports basic Rovo functionality, like searching for Xray test cases or creating Confluence pages from Xray summarized data. And in the future, we want to do many more things with Rovo, including enabling deeper insights that leverage Xray data stored on Jira Cloud. So you can do things like summarizing the test run history or a quick review of test status. Also, powerful insights features like natural language report building using Atlassian reporting products like Atlassian. We are reviewing additional Rovo agent ideas, especially those that come from our Xray customers, to continue building out our roadmap. We are absolutely thrilled to bring these innovations in 2026. We love the engagement from our customers who are passionate about testing, AI, and product feedback. So please continue to share ideas and suggestions as we continue down this journey together.
Thank you, Judy, for that exciting overview of what's ahead of Xray in 2026. It's inspiring to see such a bold vision taking shape and to know there's so much to look forward to. As we approach the end of today's event, I'd like to welcome someone who's been at the heart of it all, João Valença, Xray General Manager. He's the one bringing all of these incredible teams together and driving the vision that makes Xray the product we all know and love. João, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Francisco. It's truly amazing to have all these incredible people come together and bring this event to life. First, thank you all for being with us today. Not just for today's session, but for being part of this incredible journey we're building together. These moments become more special because of the people who choose to show up, participate, and share this passion for quality and innovation. To our customers, partners, and internal teams, thank you for being here. A very special thank you to Dragan Spiridonov and Alan Braun for accepting the challenge to join us today and for sharing that knowledge, expertise, and vision for the future. Today, we'll walk through everything that made 2025 a milestone year for Xray. We started by looking at the pillars that guided our work, putting customers first, delivering performance and flexibility, and pushing forward toward cloud readiness. These aren't just words on a slide. They are commitments that shape our decisions every single day. They will continue to guide our efforts in the months ahead. From our product team, we saw a year filled with improvements, new capabilities, and the launch of AI on Xray. On the brand refresh, what we have shared today is part of Xray's ongoing evolution. Xray has been at the heart of the DevOps workflow for 12 years, supporting teams as they build and ship great software. Stay tuned, there's more to come. As for our community, we saw testimonials from customers and partners around the world. Real teams using Xray to solve challenges. More than 10,000 customers managing over 100 million test cases every day across more than 130 countries. These stories reflect exactly why we exist, to help organizations deliver high-quality software with speed, confidence, and control. And to all our amazing partners, being able to work alongside you is without a doubt one of Xray's greatest strengths. Thank you for believing in us. Our collaboration with Atlassian is another key part of this future. What we shared today, from cloud-first strategy to the evolution of Forge apps, to the possibilities unlocked by Atlassian Rovo, this is just the beginning. Together, we are building an ecosystem where teams have more power, more intelligence, and more automation than ever before. The insights shared today about AI reinforce what we all feel. This is not just another trend. It is reshaping testing, reshaping quality, reshaping how software is built. And I'm proud to say that Xray isn't following the wave. With the help of SymbiIQ, we are helping define it. After everything we've seen today, I can tell you, we are just getting started. The AI revolution has begun. Before we wrap up, I want to give a huge thank you to the entire Xray team. Every year, you show the drive to turn challenges into opportunities. And it's that mindset that helps us deliver outstanding value to our customers. Xray is now recognized as the leading test management tool. And that simply wouldn't have happened without all of you. Thank you. And as we move toward 2026, I want to leave you with this. We are building this future with you and for you. Your feedback, your ideas, your challenges, and your successes are what shape Xray. Please keep sharing, keep pushing us to do better, and keep being part of this journey. Here's to a year full of innovation, collaboration, and meaningful progress. May 2026 be even brighter than 2025. See you soon, and take care.